going to start. Welcome to season number 9 of the Living Large in a Small House podcast. I took a break and it turned into several months. And the reason for that is we've had a lot of things going on at this small house. And my girls, Annie and Emma, are here to chat with me about all of those things and share them with you. So first we have Annie from Dallas. Can you say hi to us?
Hello, it's Annie from Dallas.
And Emma.
Hello, it's Emma.
And where are you, Emma?
Oh, you said Annie from Dallas, so I just said Emma. I'm in Chicago.
You're in Chicago. And their brother Kenny was supposed to be on with us today, but he had other commitments. So let's start off with the first news that we got this year that made our lives kind of, at least my life, I feel like kind of blow up a little bit. And it's something that I never, ever thought would happen. So Annie, do you want to share what the first thing was that we found out?
Well, I'm just going to preface by saying the word blow up almost implies like a negative connotation. And this isn't that at all.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not.
Kenny is getting married in Los Angeles next year to his fiance, Mila. We're very excited, but like my mom said, never the news we thought we were going to get.
Yeah, I just never thought Kenny would ever get married. He always said, I'm never going to get married. And he's almost 40 years old. What is he, 39 this year?
38, turning 39.
39 in September, yeah. And then shortly after that, we got some news.
Can I say these ones?
Yes, and Emma, can you tell us what the next piece of news was?
Oh my goodness. I'm having a baby.
Well, you're gonna be an aunt.
Well, I'm having a baby. Well, my sister's having a baby, so we're all having a baby, and you're due January 4th. So this is gonna be my parents' first grandchild, my first nephew, or my first. Can I say?
Yeah,
well, you did
you already
already.
said it.
Yeah. So it's gonna be my first anything. I'm gonna be an aunt for the first time. That's what it is. I'm gonna be an aunt for the first time. To a little boy whose name we have no idea what's gonna be yet, but yeah, Annie and Tommy, they did it.
And Annie's gonna be a mommy.
Oh yeah, and
That's
Annie.
the scary part of it, I think.
Oh, come on. I'm going to be the best mom.
You are gonna be a good little mom.
Just a little mom, hopefully.
Yeah. And then Emma, you have some great news, and I'll share that because you have been looking for a new job for a little bit, and you started a brand new job this week. So let's talk a little bit about that. How's that going for you?
Snaps for Emma's new job.
Oh, thank you. It's good. It's a change. It's so different. I'm commuting now. I'm getting up before I was getting up at like 9 a.m. Now I'm getting up at 6:30 every morning, commuting, going into an office in the city. And so it's like equal parts fun and also exhausting, but in a good way. So totally different vibe of a company. This one's way more established. Last time we talked, I was working at a startup, and now I'm working at a company that's 105 years old with 5,000 employees. So it's totally different, but I'm excited.
How long did you have to look at their About Me page to grab those stats, Emma? Just wondering.
Well, in 2019, I happened to be working security at their 100th year anniversary. So it was simple math to know that they're 105 years, which is a really weird happenstance. But
that is really weird that was your summer job in college.
Yeah. So weird, but and that was
Wait, I'm confused. Did you it wasn't, you weren't working for them. You just were hired for that event, right?
Yeah, I was working at
Okay, that's what I thought.
S3 for their 100th year,
Yeah.
like celebration
Party.
in Milwaukee. Which is crazy because I was like, I can't believe there are companies out here that one have been working for that, have been running for this long, and two, like are able to put up 5,000 employees from all over the world for 3 days and have really great bands. That's when I escorted Mindy Kaling to that meet and greet event.
Okay. Yeah.
Of
Yeah. Yeah.
my security career.
Now,
Full
Emma,
circle.
did you bring that up when you were
Oh,
interviewing?
and all
So
three of them.
they don't have any idea?
No, they didn't catch it. I put at the bottom of my resume because I did have that job experience as my as part of my resume. And one of the roles and responsibilities I put was escorting Mindy Kaling to your 100th year anniversary. No one
And they
bothered.
never said anything.
So I'm like, and if you go down here, you'll see.
And so they never said anything still, even though you put it there.
No.
See,
That's
I think
funny.
that's such a fun fact. I would have been like, I would have front and center say, I
I
know.
was gonna say that reminds me of the Dyson Danica story. Like
Yeah,
one
that
thing
she-
you're gonna say right at the beginning to like, this is why, or part of why I want to work here, you know?
Well, that's
right.
what I said the first, in all the interviews, they were like, why do you want to work here? And I'm like, it's kind of crazy, but my first experience, seeing your company, I was in a whole different, I was working
I
security.
thought
Oh,
you
so
just said you
just said you
didn't tell them.
didn't.
Maybe I said that, but
I'm pretty sure you said you didn't tell them in the interview.
no, I did. That was in all my interviews, all three of my
okay.
interviews, I was like, and if you look down here, remember, as I said, and if you look down here, you'll see.
I was confused. Were
get
you,
it.
Annie?
Yes. Same,
Yeah,
same,
okay,
same. Okay.
okay.
Probably
Got
on
it.
mute.
Anything.
You guys,
So
I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my whole life.
And you're on, and
She
and
actually has to
slept
get
with
up and
us.
go into an office.
Yeah. Oh my
Crazy.
gosh. So great things are happening with all of my kids. And because of the wedding and the baby, we are now having an engagement / shower for Kenny and Mila in a month here at our house. So lots of kind of prep work going on for that. And then the following month, we'll be hosting a baby shower here at the house for Annie. And Emma and I also have been working on a collaboration with Love versus Design at her apartment. So I've been busy with that. Let's talk a little bit about that, Emma, because that's been a really fun little thing that we've done.
Yeah, so when we first moved in, I thought we moved in, I love my apartment. It's not that I don't want to put work into it, but I was just like, it looks great as it is, we don't need anything else. And you had this vision of wallpaper with a nice little accent above it, like a there's a nice crown molding at the top of the doors, and it goes
Well,
all through the-
let's share with everybody that you live in an old house. It's a 3-story walk up in Chicago, and it has all the charm that you would imagine in an older home. It's got built-in corner cabinets. It has a ton of crown molding all over, and it has actually rounded ceilings in all the rooms, but you don't really notice it because it kind of just blends in with all the beige walls that were everywhere. And in the apartment, when you walk in the front door, you walk into their dining room. So I thought it would be really fun to put a wallpaper in there, kind of like a bold statement wallpaper when you walk in, and then paint from where the wallpaper ended at the first set of crown molding, which is at their door height, which in this old house is about 7 feet, I think, is to the top. And then it goes up probably 2 more feet, excuse me, with this rounded ceiling. And we painted between that crown molding on the top of the doors frames and the crown molding that frames the ceiling. and it turned out fabulous.
For those of you
It's
that are
so-
watching on the video, here's a sneak peek.
Yeah, we aren't really actually presenting it until next week. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
what-
so
the
it
re-
was fun putting it together. Spencer, my roommate, and I, we ordered like 6 different samples. And we actually, so the samples are like 6 inches by like 2 feet long. So when you put them up, our design is a very large design, and actually you couldn't see, you saw like random like lines going through, and that's literally it. And it was the last thing we were picking. We had other ones, we were between like 2 other ones, and then our friend was like, hear me out. Like, this is gonna be cool when you put it all together and the statement it's gonna make. It also fits with your vibe more because the other ones are a little bit more, I don't want to say clip arty, but they were. So this one was just a little bit more rustic, older vibes that matched the apartment, and it really came out. Every wall happened to have like a good, it's flowers. So every wall happened to have like 1 or 2 flowers. You could totally tell what the design was. We spent a weekend with our moms. They both came down, and my dad. They all came down. We put up the wallpaper. That took from like 10 a.m. to like 6 p.m. And then from like 7 to 10 p.m. we painted 1 coat. And then we were just like, all right, we'll finish the next coat next morning. And then we finished the coat 1 more time, and it looks perfect, and it was totally worth it, and just the best experience.
Well, and Love versus Design is interesting because it's peel and stick wallpaper, which is perfect for an apartment application. But the really cool thing about it is every single one of their designs, you can choose the design and then custom color whatever you choose.
Yeah, it's cool, and also like the most overwhelming thing you've ever done in your whole life.
So many
So-
options.
Yeah,
So
too many
many
options.
And when you get 6 different six different patterns with, they all have like thousands of colors to choose from, and you have like 5 different colors in each pattern. So it's just like the options are endless when you think you've got it, that intrusive thought of being like, but can it be better? You know, I'm also the type of person where with really big decisions, school, my career, I'm like, F it. I'm gonna be fine. It'll be great. And it was great. And everything's just been
It
good.
did turn out great. I was a little bit concerned about how big the pattern was with as many doors and windows as you have in the space. But it turned out fabulous, and we were able to get it done in a day, paint that evening, second coat the next morning, and
Yeah, you thought you were gonna be here for 2 weekends.
I did. I said black out 2 weekends to make sure we had time to do this.
Never mind a
Um,
day.
Yeah, so another thing that I've been working on is I had a collaboration with Boutique Rugs, which required our outdoor living space to be redone. And that is a much needed thing because of these 2 upcoming events that we're having. But I also have to do my front porch. So I'm kind of in the middle of that process. And then once we found out that this new baby is a boy, I think we might steer the nursery a bit in one way or the other. I don't know. Are you still thinking you liked what you originally picked?
Yeah, so I mean, for the most part, I had gone with, because I mean, I was fully convinced that this baby was gonna be a girl. I had no doubts in my mind that, I mean, not until like 5 minutes before we decided to like do a reveal was like, maybe it's a boy. No, there's no way. But I still had an idea of what the nursery was going to look like either direction. I remember I called my mom. I had gone into Crate and Barrel for a totally opposite need, and I ended up in the nursery section, obviously, and saw this really pretty sage nursery furniture. And then I saw another website that had a really cool wallpaper that also has sage in it. And I was thinking that that could kind of be the theme for the nursery. And it's like jungly with animals and plants and stuff is on the wallpaper. And I was thinking that I could keep the sage furniture and then just do pink accents with a girl and then blue accents with a boy. And I still think that's what I'm thinking. The only thing I'm thinking about not doing is maybe changing the wallpaper, because pink accents would have gone with the wallpaper a lot better
Than
than
blue.
blue accents. So
Well,
I
yeah.
steer directions there, but I still thinking I like the idea of doing sage just because that's a gender neutral color for any future children.
Right, I agree. I agree. You wouldn't have to change the nursery once you
Mhm.
go in that direction. But you and I are gonna maybe work on a few collaborations for this new baby's cute little room. So we
excited.
get that.
Collab.
A big project, big undertaking.
So speaking of big undertakings, Emma, now this might open a whole can of worms here. Let's talk about getting our house ready for events for your brother and sister
I
who live
mean-
thousands of miles away.
No, so I don't think they fully grasp how much this has been a part of my life. So the first
Since when?
Okay.
Since 2000 and
21.
no, it
So-
started in 20. We
Yes,
started,
it did with the gardens. So in 2020, we spent almost every weekend. We did the painting of the fence in 2020. We prepped the gardens. Come 2021, once it got nice out, the weeds.
Well, so
like-
I'm just gonna say this to start. In 2020, we were expecting to have a rehearsal dinner for my wedding at the house in 2021.
correct.
But because of COVID, it ended up being the wedding that we hosted at the house in
But you
2020.
know that mom would have prepped for a rehearsal as much as she
I-
would have prepped for a wedding.
I understand. That's why you guys started in 2020 before I had even decided that it was going to be a wedding in 2021. But I'm just saying I had events no matter what. There was going to be something at the house, even though we had changed our plans.
No, she's just talking about how it's become a chore of hers that you guys are
Yeah,
having
I
events
don't
at
see
the
how that
house.
has anything to do with my workload.
I know. I'm not saying it did. I'm just saying no matter what, there was something happening at the house. And so you had to do this work.
Yes.
Right. And then even in
Thank you for that.
2020 for wedding number 2,
So then, no, I'm working every weekend. I can't go out. I'm home. I'm literally home ridden every weekend so I can work in the gardens. I get a flesh eating disease in the front yard. Like literally my whole body was
it
covered.
was
I've
terrible.
never experienced an itch like this before. I'm working like a dog, painting the pier, redoing the bricks out in the front. And this is all while my dad's at work, my mom's working. I'm doing it. The gardens, everything like that. Then we have the wedding. And we then are like, it's going to be a breeze with the next one. No. Then the next one comes, and that's just as much yard work.
But I
Just
didn't
as
even
much
have
fun.
anything at the house the next year.
We had people come over the next day. We had so
Well,
many
we
people.
didn't
come
know
out
if we were going to have like a barbecue or what. So mom, knowing her, was like, we have to prep as if 500 people are going to be here. It doesn't matter. People are still going to see the house. And we've known that about mom our whole entire lives. So it's not really a surprise. Anyways,
I'll just say the only people who were there were your brother, your sister, and their children.
Well, we were supposed to do a barbecue with
And
everyone.
Barb and Dennis and you guys and Kenny.
Anywho, so that happens. That's another thing. I think I'm out of the woods. And then Kenny gets engaged, and we're like, okay, great, it's in California. Well, no, they aren't like inviting everyone of our family members who live. They
It's
aren't
just
really,
an-
it's
it's
a
just
very
an-
It's just
chill.
immediate
intimate wedding ceremony.
Yes. So mom and dad are like, well, we got to put on an engagement, meet Mila, wedding shower for everyone. And that's going to be, we've already been working in the yard and everything like that. And I mean, it's fine. I just will never be talked about for the next 18 years.
Talked about, you mean they won't be mean to you because of it? I don't think that's gonna
No,
happen.
I mean,
So she means there's not going to be an activity for us to prep your house for her for 18 years.
Well, I told her that if she gets married and we're no longer here on the earth, you and Kenny owe her the best wedding. in the world.
we're fucked.
Yeah, you're sorry. You might as well plan your elopement now.
Right. But yeah,
I'll just
it's fine.
say, logistically, actually, I have 2 comments.
I'll
in
just
rebuttal.
sing, did you say?
What?
That you said, I'll just sing.
I'll just say,
I was gonna say, sing. That would be the
sing
last
at her
thing she would
wedding.
want
That's
me
going to
do.
be how I contribute to her wedding. Is
Yeah.
I'm going to
You
provide
know
the
what?
vocals.
Actually, I would like that.
No paying for a band. I've got this.
Yeah. All night. She's here all night, folks.
I'm here all night. Any
It
Frozen
would clear
song?
the people, it would clear
I
people
got
out
you.
really fast. The alcohol bill would be minimal.
Minimal. You wouldn't even have to pay for most of the dinners. People would be gone before dinner started.
Okay, what are your things?
My 2 thoughts. The first are Kenny and I moved 1,200 plus miles away. And I'm sure I'm not speaking for just myself when I say that part of that reason was so that we weren't roped into doing jobs at the house every weekend. So I'm not going to say anything, but if we were in town, we would also be working.
For your own wedding, and that's how it should have been, because
well,
you had them in Illinois.
I'm just saying, had we been in town, we would have been there too. You're the only one that's there. If you had
You're
moved
the only
away,
reason I'm working.
if you had moved away, you wouldn't have been doing it. She wouldn't have called you and said, Emma, you got to come home every weekend to get ready for your sister's wedding.
That is the dumbest point. I've
That's
ever heard in
first
my
point.
life.
And the second point, and I don't think I can stress this enough, is that I was getting texts from the daily, and I forgot about the really bad rash disease thing that you got, and that kind of made me laugh thinking back on it, but it was really, really horrible.
It was horrible. It was so
It was
bad.
so bad.
It was so bad. I mean, we had to go, we went to doctors and then we stepped it up to urgent care and then we stepped it up to the emergency room. She just wasn't getting any relief. And then we finally, like on Monday morning, we finally were able to get to a real doctor who put her on
No.
mega steroids. And then she puffed up like this from the steroids.
Well, do you remember when you got like a little thing in the garden and you were like,
yeah, and mine was nothing
crying,
near
I can't-
yours. And yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Emma, I felt even worse for you then when that happened to me. Because mine was just on my arm and I couldn't stand it. And
I
hers was like from her, she was like head to toe.
I really did forget about that. But one thing I didn't forget about was the text that I would get about things that she was doing that were things that I had also done previously at the house that miraculously people came to forget about, like painting the pier. I've painted the pier. I've painted the vegetable garden fence. I painted the entire exterior of the house one summer because I was grounded and that was my job. So
Okay,
I'll just
wait a second. I call foul on that one. You never pay. This house was painted on the exterior one time and it was me and your dad, and you were a baby. So there's no
The-
way.
not the second, not I didn't go up on a ladder. I did not do the second floor, but oh, that's so bad. But ask Dad, he'll remember. I painted the entire exterior of the first floor of the house one summer. I did. I really did.
I think you're dreaming, but I will
Wow.
ask Dad about it.
Nope, I'm not dreaming. I'm just gonna say, and Kenny can also say, and I know that Dad will then counter with how he didn't do it very well, but I know Kenny has painted the pergola before. I'm pretty sure that he got in trouble for the way that he
Yeah,
painted the
funny.
pergola, but
Yeah.
everyone
he did
has
paint the
done
pergola.
stuff around the house. Granted, this was for our things, but the other times were for mom and dad things, getting ready for summer parties and getting ready for whatever. And so everyone's pulled their weight around the house at one point in time.
Okay,
In
well,
Everyone's done
you
something.
all grew up here.
And
I've had
son, my dad
numerous
never
parties for your birthdays and all that kind of stuff.
We'd had a lot of outdoor parties in the summertime.
We
Yeah.
should team up against her.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
This
To
is
do-
your
because-
fault.
Well,
you
I can
throw
I
all
can-
these
I can
parties
stop-
for
I
us,
can
and
stop
so
right
it's
now.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
your
stop
fault
right
that
your
now.
you're
fault
throwing all these
for throwing
parties
all
for
these
us.
parties.
You
for
were so
us.
rude. You're so rude.
So horrible.
I can stop right now.
That's and those are my that's my 2 cents.
Everyone has
yeah.
their own truth. I live mine every single day, and I get a great. sleep,
Thank
so
you,
I'm
Emma,
glad.
for the last 3 summers of service. We all appreciate it.
No, it's honestly a bit at this point. So
It really is.
Well, and I certainly appreciate Emma helping me out and being here because I'm 65 years old. It kills me.
oh my gosh! Remember when you fell off the ladder?
I was gonna say the
I
only time that I felt truly bad is when I got a text. I didn't get a text about mom falling off a ladder. I got a text with a picture of dad's back after he fell off the ladder like 3 weeks before the wedding.
Oh, that was when he was building the dance floor down by, and he
And then
didn't,
You broke your toe,
and then I broke my toe.
and then I was.
And I felt really bad. And so I didn't really feel bad for except for the weird skin disease thing. I did feel bad about that. But the work part of it, I felt bad when mom and dad got hurt near the end. That's when I felt really bad.
It's okay. It was a beautiful.
It was a
It was-
beautiful wedding.
It was,
and
I couldn't have ever asked for anything better. And it was not at all what we had intended to begin with, but it ended up being
Yeah, and now
so much better than we could have. One, I had always wanted to get married at the house, and then just happenstance and COVID, it wasn't going to be possible with 180 guests.
right.
And
Right.
so we had to plan it outside of the house for the big wedding. But then because of COVID, we were able to have a very intimate, beautiful, 18-person wedding?
There was 18 people, yeah. What was so cool about that for me as a mom was I felt like we got that day, your actual wedding that day with you guys all to ourselves. So when you went when the second wedding came around, which we fondly refer to as the party, when that came around, you I thought it would be a breeze because we didn't need to spend time with you guys. We'd already done that. This could just be a thing with your friends. And in retrospect, it was a big deal. I should have hired a wedding coordinator for that for sure. Cause I hired
wish-
one for 18 people. I mean, what was I thinking?
I wish that, well, I just wish we would have known everything all along and I would have never, ever thrown quote unquote the party as a wedding. It would have just been truly a party.
A party.
But because of the way things went, it wasn't really possible to reverse that back to just being a party anymore.
So you think that the wedding part made it more stressful and just kind of made it like
Oh yeah,
to
100%.
a whole nother level?
I
Yeah.
wish we could have just had a party and not had a ceremony and not done all the
stressed at
things.
all.
And
I think
What?
you were, I didn't think you were stressed at all. I thought you were like,
shut up.
you were so great. Oh my God. I mean, it was just a joy to be around you.
You're so terrible.
Oh my gosh.
We were
Well,
screaming at each other
with
until
that,
about
I
30
almost
seconds
didn't give
before
my
we
maid of
walked
honor
down the
speech.
aisle.
I swear I almost didn't give my maid of honor speech. I would have made it so awkward for you. I don't even care.
well, with that, I want to thank both Annie and Emma for joining me on this podcast to update all of my listeners with all of the fun events we have happening right now. Thank you to my listeners for tuning back in. I have some amazing guests lined up, so stay tuned. I'm also going to be doing my very best to get these podcasts up on my YouTube channel so you can see us and enjoy watching us do this because we have so much fun. Everything,
So, I
Um,
feel like we need to leave it on a little bit better of a note. I feel like that was like,
well,
we're
I'm not
good. We're
done.
all good.
Everything we talked about and the YouTube link will be in the show notes. And I think that we will be updating you again as things with our little family get even crazier.
And more
So
fun.
Annie,
And
do you
bigger.
have any departing words, closing statements? Tell everybody how
know-
you've been feeling.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
let's
let's
end on a high note.
let's
I've
end
been barfing for 6 weeks, 8 weeks straight. I feel terrible. I got hyperemesis gravidarum, which I just recently found out actually the suffix emesis is the medical term for vomiting. And so hyperemesis is exactly what it sounds like. Hyper vomiting. So it's just been just
A
a
joy.
joy. It's such a joy. It's a blessing. It's a miracle.
And you're glowing.
I'm glowing. I'm just glowing. It's such a
Well,
lovely time.
you know what I want to say? It is a blessing and it is a miracle. And this is going to be a year that we look back on for the rest of our lives as probably the best year. So many great things are happening. It's hard to even wrap my head around everything because it's just so much. But
Right. I feel like the stars aligned for all three of my kids this last year, which as a parent, it's what you hope for. You raise your kids and you hate for that. You raise them to be independent, but that day that they go out on their own and they are making their way into the world is something that you both hate, you wish for, but yet it's so bittersweet. But in a way, this is kind of like really fulfilling to see Kenny getting married, to see Annie having a baby, to see Emma thriving in her career. I mean, I couldn't ask for more.
well, we owe it to you. We really do. You were no, I'm being dead honest. We do. You really, some people's parents, they think that their kids are like all that in a bag of chips. And you just really raised us to be good kids and work hard and get what we,
You slapped us straight.
yeah.
I
And
would.
I said you slapped
straight.
us straight. We weren't all that in a bag of chips. So you smacked us until we were.
No, I didn't.
No, not literally smacked us. Just
Literally.
figuratively smacked us straight.
yeah, when your parents tell you how proud of them proud of you they are every single day. It wears, like there's no point in working.
You really got to beat them down in order for
really
them to
gotta-
raise themselves up.
Right. Okay, I don't know what she's going for, but
I don't know either.
I'm trying to be like nice. She's still on the abuse thing.
I feel like what you're saying is like a backhanded compliment. So I'm just saying what it sounds
No,
like.
it's not. It's like when people try to be best friends with their
I
kids.
know, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying that other people could take it the way that I'm saying.
Yeah, mom and dad really neglected us, and it just kind of like built character.
Made you
Bill,
be
it's
your
character
independent and be your own person.
We wouldn't
Well,
be the
I'm
independent
glad,
people.
I'm
we are.
glad that you guys consider me your friend, or at least I hope you do consider me your friend now that we're all grown-ups and on our own,
Grown-ups.
living in our
You're my
own
favorite person
house.
in the family.
It only took
I'm what?
20 plus years.
What'd you say, Emma?
Mom and I probably butted heads the most in life, and I think we're I'm gonna say it, the closest.
Yeah, we all know your mom's favorite. It's fine.
That's not true. The only reason you probably think that is because she lives near me, so I see her pretty often. You
She
got
goes,
out of
whoever,
co-
she goes, my favorite is
got out of-
whoever's closest to me at the moment. As if Emma isn't the only one that's within 45 minutes of her house.
I like it, Mom. It's a very politically correct.
But Emma has spent a lot of time with me. Annie, the
Out
day
in
you
the
got out of
garden.
college and came home, you worked as hard as you could to get the heck out of here and move.
I
You went
spent
home
I spent
8 weeks.
3 full weeks doing everything I could to get a job that
That could have also been because I was home at the time too.
it was that had a big factor. It was not because necessarily if I had it Emma's way and I got to come home and be the only child at the house, I would have stayed a hell of a lot longer than 3 weeks.
I don't think you would because Tommy was still in Iowa. You wanted to get back there because of Tommy.
A little bit, but I would have stayed longer than I did. Love Emma. Didn't love her as much then. Emma and I didn't become as nearly as close as we are now until she was in college.
Yeah, now she doesn't leave me alone.
Yet now she can't get me off the phone fast enough.
And you guys never fight. That's the thing that's so just makes my mom heart sing.
You're being sarcastic.
I am being
Clearly
sarcastic.
she's being sarcastic.
I thrive off fights with Annie. That's how we flirt.
That's
Well,
literally
it-
our love
it make-
language
It
with each
drives
other.
me crazy, just so you know. If you
For
can
the
put
last
that
like
in there.
3 years, we love each other so hard, but we never were together. We fight, and mom and dad will get so upset, and they'll get more upset than Emma and I actually are with each other. And then we think it's hilarious that they're mad at us for fighting because we're like, we're not even fighting, we're just loving each other differently.
Yeah,
It's
it's hard.
more
It's hard. It's hard
comfortable.
as your parents to see it. And maybe if you would share with us that you're not really fighting because sometimes
We
the-
say it all
Ew.
the time. We're like, this isn't even fighting, you guys. We're loving.
okay. Well, with that, we will end on this happy note,
Loving note.
loving note, and we'll see you next week.
We're just an American family.
Bye-bye.
Love you
Bye,
guys.
girls.